Welcome, recruit, to the ultimate new player beginner's guide for Star Citizen. Not only will you learn how to play Star Citizen like a pro, I'm going to show you how to make money like a freaking boss as well, so you can buy any ship that you want within the game. To get out of your bed so you can start your adventure, you need to press Y on your keyboard. You're going to be pressing this a lot to be getting in and out of your pilot's chair, and look at that, there's another chair we can sit in. If you would like to interact with an item like this chair, just hold down the F key and you can left click with your mouse. In this case, it made me sit in the chair. We're not going to get any money sitting around on our fat butt, so we might as well get this playthrough going. What do you say? Holding down Y will get you out of the chair. Now head over the door, hold down your F, and then left click with your mouse. It'll open the door for you. So yeah, I decided to actually start in Orison for a change. I generally tell everybody, don't start here and all, but this place is absolutely beautiful. Love this place. Just a pain in the butt to leave, but man, look at it. If you notice, I changed the camera angle on my tune there. If you'd like to do that, you just press F4, and then you can hold down Z and kind of move the camera around. It'll change the camera angle for you until you find something you like my beautiful little face. Yeah. Standard FPS controls apply, so W is forward, S is backwards, A is to your left, and D makes you move to the right. Spacebar is jump, control is crouch, and shift is your sprint key. Star Citizen is such an absolutely beautiful game, seriously. Oh yeah, where was I? In order to run faster in Star Citizen, you definitely want to wheel up as much as you can on your mouse. This is your speed limiter. Wheel it up as much as you can. Look how much faster I'm running right now. Yeah, I think that's the shuttle I need to catch to get the heck on out of here. Hurry up, you fat bastard. Oh yeah, definitely the shuttle I need to catch. No matter what city you start in, your main goal is to get yourself to the spaceport as soon as you can. The one thing you will learn about Star Citizen is it's all about the signs, so follow the signs. Made it to the airport, and that ship right ahead of you is the ship I plan to progress to from the Aurora MR. We are going to buy the glorious C2 Hercules. This ship will cost you 4.9 million AUEC. I plan to make that in less than 2 days. I hope you're wearing your brown pants today, recruit, because we are just about to learn how to fly the ship. Once you're in the main airport, you will find the Fleet Manager Terminal. This is where you can summon any ship that you currently own within Star Citizen. We will be using the ship that got beat down by the entire Ugly Stick Forest, the Aurora MR. Now, we just need to get to Hangar 7. Right next to the fleet terminals, there will be an elevator. Just hop inside and tell it which hangar or pad you need to go to. And if you're lucky enough, maybe Space Jesus will see you off. So here we are, the Aurora MR, the cheapest starter package you can buy. Now, if I was to recommend a starter package, I might recommend 3 ships, 4 if you're a total and complete psycho. Very first one would be the Aurora MR. Next one would be down here. The Pisces is actually a really good starter package. The super starter package, the one that I conned my wife into buying, get the Avenger Titan. It's totally awesome. You want to just totally piss your money away like I did in the very beginning. Then start out with the Cutlass Black. It is a really super good ship. Although, just want to find out if you like the game, why don't you just get the Aurora MR? Although she's ugly, she's a really good starter ship for the money. Ugh. There she is, the Aurora MR. She can kind of do combat. She can pretty much do everything halfway decently if you consider sucking halfway decently. But she will get your foot in the door so you can have a whole bunch of fun playing Star Citizen. Now, like I said earlier, I hope you're wearing your brown pants or at least a pair of diapers for your first flight, because you might actually poo yourself just a little bit trying to learn how to fly. The very first thing you want to do once you sit down in the pilot's chair is to hit R on your keyboard. This stands for flight ready and will power up all your systems. The very next thing you'll want to do is wheel up on your mouse to get that speed limiter up all the way to the very top. Quickly hit escape and then go to your options menu. What we want to do is we want to change a key binding, so you need to click on key bindings and then go to advanced control customization. From there, we will scroll down until we come to flight movement. Now we're going to have to scroll down, I believe, all the way to the very bottom until we come to request landing. I set mine to semicolon. You can pretty much set it to whatever you want, but this allows you to request a takeoff or landing with a single press of a button, which is totally awesome. You are now free to request a takeoff using that hotkey I helped you just set up a second ago. It's now time to plot a course. We want to get the heck on out of here at Orison, and while we're at it, we are going to be sending a new bind location because everybody hates to fly out of Orison because it takes forever. So we're going to head over to Crew L1 at the Ambitious Dreams Station. Now you could also base out of Grim Hex over by Yellow, but I'm trying to keep you away from all the reds, so definitely bind over at Crew L1, no matter where you start in the verse. Once you have your course plotted, just make sure to set your route. We are just moments away from our very first flight apprentice, and chances are you're probably going to drop a deuce in your pants. Don't worry, everyone drops a deuce in their pants on the first go. Now, up is spacebar, down is control. If you'd like to tuck your landing gear away, you can actually do that by pressing in. Pressing F4 will get you into third person for your ship, just like you did on foot. Now, W will get you to go forward, S will get you to go back, D will get you to go to the right, A will move your ship to the left, E will roll your ship to the right, and Q will roll your ship to the left. Shift will engage your afterburner, and Z is your actual space brake to help you stop a little bit easier. Let's head up into the atmosphere and get the heck on out of here. It's going to be a long trip. Get your ship at a 90-degree up angle. It means you're flying straight up into the atmosphere. We're going to be doing this for about 5.5 to 6 minutes. That's how long it takes to get out of the atmosphere at Orison. Press C to engage your cruise control. In order to start spooling your hyperdrive, you will need to press B. And you'll see that little red arrow at the bottom. That's my location, and it just went blue. That means we can now level out and finally engage our hyperdrive. In order to engage your hyperdrive, you will have to make sure that it is spooled and calibrated all the way. Once it is, you can just hold down the B button and that'll engage your hyperdrive. Chances are, recruits, you haven't messed up your underwear quite yet, but there is a really good chance you're gonna when you try to land for the very first time. Here we are at Crew L1, the Ambitious Dreams Station. Once you get close enough, you can press that hotkey that I showed you to request a landing. You will know you're close enough when they actually, ask you to land. Once they do, you can request your landing. Then they're going to give you a location to fly to. That little pip there, the circle with the upside down arrow. Once you get your landing location, just fly over there like a total and complete space ninja without crashing into the station itself because, you'll die and dying's totally horrible. If you haven't already, you'll want to press in to deploy your landing gear. Now, I like to fly in third-person mode as I'm flying through these hangars doors. It just makes it so much easier so I don't, crash my ship into the side of them. Now, if you get close enough to the landing pad, as long as your landing gear is deployed, you can hold down in for auto landing. If you use this feature, you are quite possibly the laziest cadet in the verse. That's right. Called you cadet. Don't let it go to your head, as long as you didn't blow yourself up and die. Once you've landed, you can press F1, then click on the little gear icon down there. This will let you repair and refuel your quantum and hydrogen fuel if you need to. Press I to turn off your engines. After you do that, you can hold down the Y button to get out of your chair. If you need to change your underwear, do that now, cadet. This is just going to be a quick stop. Take the elevators to the main lobby, then head over to the medical clinic. What you're looking for are these insurance terminals right over here. Interact with the terminal. What you want to do is transfer your imprint from your last location to here. We're just about to go out to farm some weapons and gear, and the very last thing we want to do is get ourselves completely and totally bucked down and then spawn back on Orison, then fly up all the way through the atmosphere once again, which takes 5 or 6 minutes. You'll shoot yourself in the head. So yeah, just bind here. Once you have a fresh pair of underwear and a new bind location, we are going to go out and do the coolest thing in the world, the absolutely no risk, all the reward method of farming. Head over to Selin in the Crusader system. From there, you'll be plotting a course over to Gillette Family Farms. Not gonna lie, cadet, this is a semi-dangerous situation. As you can see in the far upper right hand corner, there is no longer a Ghostbuster sign with a bullet down the center. This means anything goes. You can be beefed on by NPCs or players in the air or on the ground, so be careful. Now don't sweat it too much. Like I said, there's no risk. We didn't spend a single penny and we're just flying around in our free flight suit and helmet, so it's no big deal if we die. Make sure you just land out front and definitely turn off your engines. Cutting power to your engines instead of turning off your ship has 2 benefits. First of all, you're not going to blow away in the wind so much, and you'll also keep your shields fully charged, which is awesome. Seriously, Star Citizen really just makes space look so glorious. We are going to be looting a whole crap load of different weapons, as well as ammunition, medical supplies, things like that, and some armor. Red crates are definitely what you're looking for. These are considered weapon caches. They will have random armor and things like that in them as well. Looks like I forgot to empty my local up before we started this. Next, drag each item one by one into your local inventory. They cannot be lost at that point. Personally, I don't loot the pistol or the pistol ammo. That's completely up to you. Let's check out this back room over here. This room offers the most spawn locations for loot, so chances are you're going to get hooked up pretty fat. Here's another location right here, a small box. Loot pretty much everything in these crates. Drugs can spawn on that left shelving unit there. Here is another spawn location. Looks like we found another small box. I'm going to loot everything again because I'm greedy. Well, everything except for the knives. I don't like to stab people, I like to shoot them. So, check the shelving a little closer. Don't see any drugs. Back over here, it looks like we found another crate. This time it's a medical crate. We're mostly after the white med guns, the red sticks, and the blue sticks. I'll also loot those green canisters that look like snot. That recharges those med guns. There can be a location right there. Here's another spawn location, another weapon cache. Besides the random armor and occasional med gun, the really cool thing about these caches is they give you weapon attachments. That's good enough for government work. As we head out of this room, there is one last spawn location on top of that Corvalex machine there. But seriously, this is the room where you generally get hooked up totally and completely fat. This other room right here only has 2 spawn locations in front of the desk and behind it. Doesn't look like there's any loot here right now. But seriously, I'm not going to complain too much. This is actually a better than average run, and it's pretty awesome that I'm actually filming it right now. Well, there you go. There's another weapon crate right here. This is the only spawn location in this room. Definitely going to yoink up absolutely everything in here. Even the pistol and pistol ammo this time since there's only one. Generally, I don't loot those because they don't sell for very much compared to the rifles. We're starting to amass ourselves a really nice stash of guns, and we're starting to look like a space pimp. Congratulations, Cadet, for completing your very first loot run. You're now faced with 2 choices, Cadet. You can either leave and go somewhere else, or you can lie down in your bed. Once you get down in your bed, you actually have the option to log out. Logging out to menus, then logging back into a new server will refresh all of the loot spawns. As much as I would love to be that guy, unfortunately the Aurora MR doesn't have a lot of cargo space, so now we need to transfer absolutely everything over that we just looted right now into our vehicle. This moment right here, Cadet, is your moment of danger. Technically, you cannot lose anything that is in your local inventory, but once you start sliding all that stuff into your vehicle, if you get attacked, you better start sliding all that crap right back into local or you're going to lose it all. Now, don't sweat it too much, Cadet. I've done this tons of times, and I've only ever been attacked 3 times, never during this stage. Once you're all loaded up, you want to get the hell out of here since it's not an armistice zone. We're not going to go back to Crew L1 quite yet. We're actually going to head over to Terra Mills Hydro Farm. It's super duper close, just 1 hop away. Here we'll loot more armor. We're also going to get our food and water sorted. There they go again, making slightly laggy space look so good. When you get here, don't be that cadet that parks on the big giant pad with a little teeny tiny ship. Just park right here in the middle of these 3 buildings. We're basically going to be looting all 3 of these, so it makes it a lot easier than running out to the big giant pad that's meant for other ships that want to actually buy crap. Terra Mills is under the protection of an armistice zone, so all your loot is safe, everything is safe, you won't crap yourself. The main difference between here and, say, Gillette Family Farms is these red crates are all going to be armor crates. Also, the majority of the loot spawns are spread out between 4 buildings instead of just 1, so you're going to have to do a little bit more hunting and pecking. Found another red crate. These you're going to find just a lot of helmets in. Usually I find tons of helmets. Sometimes you'll find body armor and occasionally leg armor and arm armor, but mostly it's going to be helmets. White crates mostly hook you up with food and drink, although there are really cool things in here like clothing as well as those white med guns that sell for a whole boat ton. I'm mostly getting my inner fat guy sorted so I don't have to buy anything later. Sweet, we found another armor cache, and that one orange helmet there with the open face is worth a lot. Checking the main building where you actually buy stuff at, here is another armor cache, and looky there, another one of those helmets that are worth 1.5k. Same building, yet another armor cache, and oh looky there, a pink flight suit, oh joy. Always make sure you check the little blue building. There can be a box that spawns in here as well. We're going to take all those mining bit attachments and every bit of food. Ironically, we found way more armor than we found food crates this time. Back on the ship, it is now time to transfer everything from our local into our vehicle. Let's hope I have enough room. The Aurora MR doesn't have a whole lot of room to begin with. You'll also notice that I'm kind of dropping stuff into my vehicle and it disappears. Usually I have it selected as clothing, so when I drop an item in there, I don't accidentally put it on top of another item, then they swap places, so this is a lot better. Yep, the Aurora MR doesn't have a lot of storage space, so in order to try to get the rest of these items out of local, I'm just going to start suiting up for our next adventure. I'm going to grab a sniper rifle and one of the SMGs and get all the ammo sorted. I got all my med sticks and oxypens sorted. Now I'm going to grab one of these medical guns as well as one of these multi-tools. I'm going to stick it on my little hip there, put the attachment inside of it. Hopefully we'll have enough room now to move some of this other armor over here into the ship. Doesn't look like it's really going to work out too well. I don't think I can stuff that big one in there because it weighs so daggone much. You have to admit, Cadet, that was one hell of a successful loot run. Now all we have to do is drop all this stuff at Crew 01 so we don't lose it all. Once you've landed inside of a hangar, your loot is totally safe. And all you have to do is transfer all the stuff from your ship to the local inventory. We have literally saved tens of thousands of AUC just by going out and looting all this stuff up for free. Saving money is one thing, but making a whole bunch of money is totally another. So head over to the hospital pharmacy terminal. We're actually going to sell some of those white med guns. Make sure you save a few for your own personal gameplay, but they sell for about 706 AUEC a piece. That's really good considering you get boat tons of these when you're out looting. After you sell your med guns, hop into the elevator and head to the Galleria. We're actually going to go to the weapons store, which is just off to the left-hand side over here. If you need to buy any extra ammunition for your weapons, now is the time, although you probably have plenty from just looting like I did. Hit up the sell tab, make sure you have the local inventory selected. If you noticed, a lot of these weapons sell for a half decent amount. Some of them are actually worth over 2,000 each. Now, you can sell all the weapons you want to, but I always keep these for my own personal gameplay. Once you're done with the weapon shop, head upstairs to the armor shop. You can actually do the exact same thing. You can sell all the stuff that you looted if you feel like it, although I highly recommend that you keep at least a couple extra suits left over because you will die eventually, Cadet. Our main goal here, though, is to buy a large backpack, and of course you're going to witness me completely and totally screwing the pooch because I accidentally buy a medium-sized backpack, which means we're only going to be able to loot half as much of the stuff as I want to loot in the next step. So do yourself a favor, make sure that you buy a large backpack as it can hold twice the amount of stuff. The only thing is it has to be mounted on a large body armor. So make sure if you don't have a large body armor when you went out looting that you buy one and get the large backpack. After you don't completely and totally screw the pooch like your commanding officer, make sure that you pack yourself a lunch because you will be out in the field just for a little bit. As cool as that other helmet is, I can't really see my face. Well, congratulations, Private. We are now ready to go into the LZ and shoot a whole bunch of bad guys, make a whole bunch of money, unless you die. We are going to be doing a little bit of cave diving, and there is no place better than on Daymar. Now, the very best place to go if you can't find yourself the actual mission when you're trying to do cave missions is just go there yourself. So fly over to the Wolf Aid Shelter. Once you get here, hover directly above the aid shelter. We're going to make a course correction to the cave. Keep turning your ship until you find 280 degrees. We are going to be flying in that direction for 117 kilometers. It's usually best to just kind of level out and fly in cruise control until you see those set of mountains ahead of you. You know, this place is super easy to find at night. That's why I'm kind of showing you at night instead of in the daytime. You're going to fly past these sets of mountains right here. There's the third one that's kind of tucked off to the right there, but that main one that we're looking for is that one just in front of us that has that really pronounced hump. The cave entrance is just slightly past that hump on the mountain, just to the left-hand side. Fly just to the left of that point in the mountain. It's going to point you right to the cave. There it is right there. Doing a quick spool test on the Wolf Aid Shelter, you can see that that's 117.5 kilometers away to the cave. As long as you fly at a 280 degree angle, you're going to run right into it. Landed, and as you notice, this is also not an armistice zone, although the ever-watchful satellite will report any crimes against you, so if someone comes here and ganks you, you can at least give them a crime stat. There is always a loot box outside of the cave, and I was kind of hoping for a gem crate to show you that, but the armor, well, you're not going to really be able to loot a lot of that unless you want to just run it to your ship. Press T to turn on your flashlight. You can then press 1 and select which weapon you want to use. I'm going to use a sniper rifle. They are such cheese when you're doing these cave missions, it's almost unfair. You can kind of mob in here. There's going to be like 3 sets of crates. There's one of them right there. There should be another one around this corner. And then after that, you actually need to be prepared because there will be bad guys starting right about here. And why, looky there, there's a bad guy. I'll give him a dose of sleeping pills. This next room, there's going to be at least 3 different guys in here, possibly 4. This room right here houses a lot of loot crates, as long as every single guy that you beef on will have a bunch of gems that you can loot as well. Not gonna lie, the only reason that I'm here is to loot as many gems as I possibly can. Now, technically, you can fill up an entire large backpack by going from the top and all the way to the bottom of this cave. That's gonna equal out to over 160,000. Well, bummer, I let this guy get a little bit too close to me. With these sniper rifles, you can shoot them from long range and they don't even see you. But now I'm going to have to use an actual med pen. You can do that by pressing C and then left clicking. There we go. Now I'm not going to die. Completely cleared out the room. It's time to get our loot on. Now when you're looting these bodies, you need to open up the actual chest pieces and leg pieces, things like that. That's where the loot is going to be. It's going to be in there. Now if you find one, say in the body armor, the next spot you would want to check would be the leg armor, but there's never going to be 2 spawns of loot, so there's only going to be 1. I'm going to do the same for the next body. Click on loot and then open up the body armor. Chances are that's where all of the gems are going to be located at, and there we go. Those gems are actually worth a whole hell of a lot more than if you just hand mine them yourself. Oh sweet, this guy has a backpack. Backpacks actually have a higher chance to spawn even more gems inside, as well as food and crap like that. We're not going to worry about the food and stuff, but those gems, most definitely going to be looting those gems. Now, unfortunately, the body armor and the leg isn't going to spawn anything for us. The previous patch before, every single one of those containers had a chance to drop a bunch of loot, so as you can imagine, it was a lot better then. Looting this other body right next to the body I just looted, and it's weird. It's actually showing me both inventories. I guess it's close enough in proximity. Whatever. Well, we're just going to loot all these gems from this guy, and as you can see, I'm already starting to stock up a whole crap load of gems. Once you get all the space bad guys looted, check around for loot crates. Now, the main one you want to find is the really small loot crate, because that's where even more gems are. This one's actually a weapons crate. Now, there is a bug that you can actually use in-game that will cause you to be able to overload your backpack, and you can pretty much carry any daggone thing you want to. Although I'm not going to show that in this guide. This is about legit gameplay and how to advance like that. However, I will definitely mooch up all these attachments and any extra ammo I can find. Now here we go, here's another double crate loot spawn. Now the small box is exactly what I was talking about earlier. They have a whole bunch of gems inside as well as food and other crap. Sometimes finding the right place to click when they spawn on top of each other is a little bit hard. Here's an actual medical crate. Yep, definitely want to loot those med guns and any kind of red or blue sticks that you find, maybe even the green snot. So here's a white crate here. I'm not going to really loot anything in it because it'll take far too much of my bag space up unless I want to be a total and complete cheater. Not going to worry about this one. Our main goal is to loot bad guys and find as many of these small crates as possible. Here we go. Now, hopefully this one is totally and completely loaded a bit more than that last one. Looks like a bunch of food. Keep scrolling down. Oh, wow. There's a bunch of gems in here this time. It is worth mentioning, Private, that you should be as paranoid as you possibly can, as much as you possibly can. This area is highly trafficked by people who like to come in and gank people like you and take their gems, so make sure that you're always paying attention. You know, kind of hard when you're looting, but, you know, it is what it is. Just some friendly advice. Cleared out that room, heading down this next tunnel. There are some more bad guys down here, which means more gems for us to loot, which is totally and completely glorious. This time I'm just going to buck them down before they see me. Time to get our loot on again. Let me be a little bit paranoid because there could be more guys. I don't remember if there's 2 or 3. Maybe there was just 2 here. Alright, let's get our loot on. Oh, nice. This guy has a backpack, meaning he's probably going to have more gems in there. Now, see, the sad thing is I just started looting not that long ago. I've only been here for like 8 or 9 minutes at the most, and my backpack is almost all the way full already. See, this is what happens when you're totally stupid and you buy the wrong backpack trying to shoot a best start video. Hopefully this guy actually has a decent amount of gems on him. Well, it's only 4. I'm not going to complain though. And of course we find another small cache of gems. Man, I'm probably going to be overloaded after I try to loot this box here. Oh wow, there's hardly any in here. This is probably the smallest amount of gems I've found in one of these crates. And even though it is the smallest crate, it's probably going to be too much for us to loot. I don't think I can stuff that last one in our backpack, so I'll just stick it in the body armor. Alright, well, that concludes our loot run. I was only here for maybe 10 minutes. Probably took me about as long to fly here as it did to totally and completely load up this medium backpack. Man, I wish I would have got a large backpack for this video. Now that you have completely loaded up, the very best thing you can do is actually just log out to the main menu, then log back in. You'll appear back at Crew L1. Once you get back on the space station, you will be heading over to the gallery to sell all your loot. Now don't worry, everything that was in your backpack and everything that you had on you will still be on you when you log out to main menus and come back into the game. Once you're in the gallery, locate the admin office. We are going to be selling all those gems, and if you remember, I said those gems are worth a whole crap load of money. Select your backpack, and now check this out. Now, technically, we didn't loot no 650 gems. It's just that those gems are worth a lot more than the singles that you hand mined. Wow, that was a lot of money. Now, imagine if we weren't a complete and total space bonehead and we went in there with an actual large backpack. We could have left out of there with over 170k worth of gems, easily. Even though we didn't get ganked, that method was risky. Perhaps you'll like this next one. This next method is going to require you to head over to the refinery deck. We are going to rent a better ship as well as a land-based mining vehicle. Once on the refining deck, locate the shop on the bottom level, then head over to the Vantage rental kiosk here. We're going to be renting the Gray Cat Rock as well as the Cuddy Black. Now the Gray Cat's going to cost you about $4,299 per day, which isn't too bad. And the Cuddy Black will run you in the neighborhood of about 34,630 AUEC per day. Well worth it. Sometimes when you do cave missions, it's just a little too peoply out, so do this instead. Now, I didn't have to rent a Cuddy Black because I actually own one. This was my starter package ship. Let's head back to Daymar. Now, this method can be a little bit more profitable than cave diving, although half the time it isn't. It's just a lot safer. Now, you will need to pick up your rock because you can't pick it up at a space station, so the very best place to go is the Shubin Mining Facility SCD-1. When you get here, don't bother landing on any of the pads, just land next to the blue building. Once you get inside the blue building, just interact with the fleet manager here. You will have to file a claim for the rock before you can actually pull it out, so I'm going to go ahead and file the claim here. Then I'm going to get my Space Robin Hood on and go steal everything really quick. I'll spare you all the gory details of me looting every single crate in this place, although I'll show this one, but rest assured, I'm going to loot every daggone thing in this place. Got my rock pulled out, just going to get into the pilot seat here. Now, turning on your power is just like when you do for your ship for the very first time. You're going to hit R for flight ready. That's going to get all your power turned on. Now, be super paranoid, alright? You actually have the back of your ship wide open. Anybody can run in there and steal your ship. So make sure when you open up the back to load your rock that you definitely make sure that nobody else is around. And like most good things in life, this is going to be a really tight fit. So when you pull your rock in here, just make sure you do it in third person mode. It makes it a lot easier. Tight fit. Once you have your rock all loaded up, quantum over to the orbital marker 1, then look straight down at Daymar. We're mostly going to be picking a patch of mountains and flying towards it. Pick any of the group of mountains that you see here. Hadanite likes to spawn around the mountains, not so much the desolate areas. The main reason why I'm having you drop down at Ohm 1 is on every single planet, that's the side that faces the sun, so it's always going to be daylight. Once you get relatively low to the ground, start spamming your wide angle 360 ping. What you're looking for is any type of box that suddenly pops up at a close range. That will always be gems. That little patch right there is most definitely gems. But if you want to make sure you can reduce your scan angle to 2%, ping that box again, then you'll get some little white diamonds that pop up. Once you fly a little bit closer to those gems, you can press V on your keyboard and change your scan mode. And all you have to do is just look at the gems and hold down your left mouse click button. Ultimately, this will let you know if it's worth landing, and you're only going to want to land if you find a 3-pack or more of Hadanite or Aphorite. Don't bother with Dolomite unless you find a huge patch of it. You want to land nearby on about the levelest ground that you can find. The most important thing is to make sure after you have landed that your ramp can still touch the ground. Looks like we're good to go on this one. After you pulled your rock out of that tight fit, head over to the rocks. Hopefully they're, going to be Hadanite because you're lucky like me and you always find Hadanite. press M to activate your mining laser. Wheel up on your mouse to increase the laser intensity. Of course, the more power that you put in it, the hotter the rock's going to get. Heat up the rock as fast as you can, and once it starts to get to the green, wheel down on the power. Mostly it's about keeping it in the green area, obviously, and there we go, we cracked our very first rock. I'm going to fast forward to the very last rock here, just cracked it. They're super easy to crack, so don't sweat it too much. To activate extraction mode, just right click your mouse, then you can left click to turn it on. And all you have to do is just kind of aim it everywhere and pick up a whole bunch of gems. Occasionally when you're collecting your gems, some of them will kind of fly off in random directions, and I don't really worry about picking those up anymore. I just worry about the majority of the gems. If you totally want to farm a bunch of gems though, that cave diving I showed you earlier is super duper good. It rivals making the money here in the rock as long as it's not too peoply out. Time to stuff my big fat rock into this little teeny tiny tight cutty black. Oh yeah. At the next patch of rocks I found a 3-pack of athorite. I was going to do a 100% load of hadnite considering you get 225k per load. But you know, they were right there and I'm lazy as well as space greedy, so I went ahead and just scarfed them up. Now let's ping away a little bit. That right there is most definitely going to be some gems. Spam pinging is most definitely the way, and wow, this one looks like it's going to be a really good one. The closer we get, the more we're going to be able to tell if it's going to be a huge patch or not, and that looks like a really big patch. Please, Hadnite gods, I've been a good little space cadet all year. Okay, now this is totally and completely space disgusting. This is a 15-pack of Hadnite right here. This 15-pack of Hadnite is worth well over 150k. Yep, just fell right into my lap. That's how easy it is to make money when you're farming with the rock. You know, if you get lucky. Looks like these last bit of gems might top me off, and then I was slapped in the face with reality when I realized I wasn't sucking up anything, that my game is likely going to be crashing. Gee, thanks a lot. That was 200k wasted. You know, this is why cave diving is better, because you don't lose your gems when you crash. Once you scrape together 2.25 million, head over to Port Olisar in the Crusader system. We need to pick up some modules. Keep your head on a swivel when landing at PO. There's almost always shenanigans afoot. I always love getting out of my cutty black because it's so awesome. You have this side door. When you jump out, nobody can really get back in. There we go again. Awesome laggy space scenery. Man, I love landing here at PO. It's just so beautiful. Look how big that gas giant is. Once you get inside, locate Dumper's Depot. You know, it's hard to miss. There's this big sign up front. Interact with the terminal and choose your destination to actually be the ship. Now, don't do what I do here. I'm stupid. I select Port Olisar. This means I'm going to actually have to move all of these surge modules I'm about to buy from Port Olisar right back into my ship. You know, when I could have just purchased them directly into my ship, which would have been a lot easier. 10 won't really be enough. Now, surge modules are only able to be purchased in a couple locations across the verse, so you might as well get about 15 of them so you don't have to come back. You know, I really should demote myself from Supreme Commander of the entire verse. Well, guess I won't because it was your fault, Sergeant. Next time, make sure I purchase everything into my ship inventory, or you're fired. Our next stop will be Arc L1 at the Wide Forest Station. This will be your next home buying point until we make at least 5 million AUEC. And don't worry, it's going to be easy. Now this is only going to be a quick stop. We're going to come in here and land. We're going to drop off all those surge modules that we just purchased, and we're going to run over to the medical clinic and create a new bind point. After you've done that, Sergeant, you want to head over to Lorville and the Hurston system. Head over to New Deal. It's right next to the ship summoning terminals at the airport. Well, been standing around here for a few minutes. This guy looks like he's buying a ship. As soon as you get 2.1 million, let it burn a hole in your pocket. Buy the Prospectors, the ship behind me. Fly back to Arc L1, head over to the refinery deck, and you're going to hit up these terminals right over here. What you want to purchase are Stampede modules. Now, you can get tons of these here at Arc L1, so there's no need to buy bajillions upon bajillions, although I'll probably buy at least 10 or so. After that, switch your category from mining modules over to mining lasers. The one you're going to want to buy is the Lancet MH1 mining laser. It's the very, very best of the best. Now, if you ever want to modify any of your ships, just click the Vehicle Loadout Manager, then go down and select the actual ship that you want to modify. In our case, it's going to be the Prospector. At this point, I already have my Prospector completely pimped out in the systems. Generally, this is the loadout that I'll run, except for I am using a Siren this time instead of the VK00, which is a bit faster. It just uses a lot more gas. You will immediately want to change out the arbor head to that lancet head that you just purchased, and you can't add the modules in or change any module on a ship just by kind of clicking the slot and clicking on the item that you want to put in there. Just make sure to click the Save Changes and Equip button, or none of the changes that you just did will save. Here we are about to take our Prospector out for our maiden voyage farming for Quantanium. Now don't worry, this is kind of sort of dangerous because you can blow yourself up, but you won't because I'm your commander. Our next stop will be in the R-Corp system. We're going to head over to the moon Lyria. You're going to be spending quite a bit of time here. Here we go. We're about to do the most profitable thing you can possibly do currently in Star Citizen to make AUEC. With this massive reward comes risk. You can blow yourself up when mining these rocks, and you can also be ganked because Lyria is an awesome place to mine, and the PKs know that. When you drop in on Lyria, you can pretty much drop anywhere. I prefer to drop at the orbital markers. If you drop at orbital marker 1 like I showed you when mining on Daymar, it will always be sunny out. One of the main things you need to know about Quantanium is it loves to spawn around mountain ranges, not so much on the flat desolate areas. So basically what you want to do, Sergeant, is just pick a set of mountain ranges to fly towards and then just fly towards them. Once you get close to the ground, you're going to be putting out that wide angle ping again, just like you did when you were rock mining. You're going to zoom in at a 2-degree angle and then just rescan all of the boxes that you see. Ignore all the single diamond returns. What you're looking for is a return of 2 diamonds or more. That right there is Quantanium. When you're out hunting for Quantanium, you're going to find tons of 2-packs. You're going to find multiple patches. The main thing is you need to know what Quantanium you mine. That rock right there is a really, really good rock. We're going to mine that one up. All mining in Star Citizen is basically the same. Now I'm going to be psycho and use the surge charge by pressing Alt F1. Now generally I wouldn't have to do this for this rock, but I wanted to demonstrate to show you how to use them. You will only use these surge modules and you have a really big rock, something that's over 6K to 8.5K. You can crack them using the surge modules. Using it on this rock though just got it way too hot. Now I'm going to hit Alt F2. This is going to trigger the stampede. What this module does is chew through the green or the red really quickly, so you have to be really careful when you use them. Now that we have the large Quantanium rock cracked down into slabs, you can now re-crack any of the rocks that are outlined in yellow, because you can't scoop those until you crack those down to purples. I think this slab is reading 1.3K ms. I mean, I play on a 4K monitor, so the numbers are a little bit small and I'm old. But if that is correct, that means that I have over 26 SCU worth of Quantanium here just in this one slab. And that right there is actually kind of ridiculous because the Prospector can only hold 32 SCU. It looks like this slab here has another decent amount of Quantanium in it, so we're going to go and mine that up as well. Now, the main thing about Quantanium is you need to make sure that you don't crack it when it is in the red. That's the big thing that'll get you blown up. So if you ever find yourself getting into the red area, don't just wheel down, because wheeling down half the time isn't going to be fast enough, so you just left click to zero out your beam, then you can wheel back up. It is so much easier to keep it in the green using this method. The main reason why I had you buy the Lancet mining head over any of the other ones is it has the most stable laser beam possible. Now it's going to keep it from jumping up and down and all over the place all the time, which causes you to blow yourself up, and ain't nobody got time for that. One of the things I like to do after I got all the yellows cracked down to purples is replot a course back to the wide forest station over at Arc L1. One of the main rules of Quantanium Club is to make sure that you do not scoop any of the purples while you still have to crack yellows, because the moment you start scooping the purples, the countdown clock timer of death starts, and if it runs out, well, you're going to blow yourself up and die. The other thing you do not want to do, like I just did, make sure that you scan every single one of the purple chunks to make sure that you loot up all the best pieces first instead of the crap that I accidentally looted a little bit of because I was impatient and didn't wait to see if it was a 100% chunk. That impulsiveness right there cost me an entire full load. Now I'm not going to have 32 full SCU. Sucks. See what I mean? I'm basically maxed out on my cargo space, and there is still Quantanium laying on the ground that is 100% chunks. See? I could have totally and completely filled up. Oh well, it is what it is. Oh yeah, and in order to collect all those Quantanium rocks off the ground, you just right-click to get into extraction mode, just like you did in the rock. You know, you really need to tell yourself these things, Sergeant, because you keep screwing up and makes me look bad when you screw up. Alright, Captain, you did it. You've done screwed up a whole bunch of times. You got yourself killed here and there, but you've made it. You've scraped together at least 5 million AUEC worth of Quantanium. Now we're going to have to deal with it. Captain, every single time I land, I head over to the fleet manager and I always store my Prospector as soon as I can, as fast as I can, because that right there will stop the countdown clock timer of death. Head over to the refinery deck. You're going to be in the upper level at the refinement center. This is where we're going to refine all that Quantanium that's in the raw form into something that we can actually sell. To start the process, just click on your Prospector and click the Setup Work Order button. Next, you'll want to pick your refinement method. Now, the very best ones to use is either the Dink Solventation. This gives you the biggest yield for the least expensive cost. Or the very next one you'll want to do is the Ferron Exchange. That one's also really good. Costs twice as much, but it also gets done in half the time. I generally don't care how long it takes, so I'm just going to go with Dinks. Now make sure that you only select the Quantanium to be refined and nothing else. Once you've stacked up about 20 to 25 orders, you want to head back to R-Corp at Area 18. You'll be hitting up the Traveler kiosk here right next to the ship summoning terminals. The ship that you're going to want to rent is the Constellation Andromeda, which holds 96 SU of cargo. This is the very biggest ship that you can rent that holds the most possible cargo that you can haul at one time. Head back to the refinery deck at Arc L1. It is now time to load up the Constellation Andromeda with all these orders, and I have 24 of them that are ready to drop off down at Area 18. I counted up all the units of Quantanium that I had on hand to deliver, and it's going to come out to a little bit over 5.1 million once I get it all dropped off and sold. So let's hope I don't experience a server crash or end up getting ganked on the way there. That would totally suck, because then I'd have to go mine more Quantanium. Man, the Constellation is so much bigger than the Aurora MR or the Cuddy Black. I love it. Once you land at Area 18, you're going to have to hop a tram to get to the center of town there, but you're going to want to head over to the TDD, which is just ahead of us right there. Once you get inside, interact with the terminal here, then click the Sell tab. You're going to be selecting the Constellation Andromeda if you were a smart captain. Then go over there and start selling all your stuff. That 7 Boras is actually kind of funny. It went along with a full order of Quantanium that magically blew up for some reason. Absolutely no reason at all. But check out how much that Quantanium is worth right there. Over 800k. Just in one load from the Constellation Andromeda. And we've got many more loads. After you've completed your sale, hit the back space button. This will give yourself a space heart attack, spawning you back at Arc L1. Once you're back on Arc L1, interact with the Fleet Manager terminal once again. You're going to need to put a claim order in on the Constellation Andromeda. Doing it this way just saves you from having to run through town, catching a train, flying all the way back up here and all that. It is way, way better if you just go ahead and claim your ship. Now that you have the claim process started on your Constellation Andromeda, just head back to the refinery deck and then load as many orders of Quantanium in there as you can. After you have all your orders loaded up, head back to the Fleet Manager terminal, then expedite your claim. You'll only have to wait a few minutes at this point. Alright, that took a little bit longer than I thought it would. Here we are on our very last order. It took me an hour and a half of doing nothing but running orders down here, killing myself back, running orders down here, killing myself back. Yep, it was a whole bunch of fun. Definitely makes me feel good in the pants to have all these orders dropped off without getting ganked or crashing. We won't be killing ourselves back to Arc L1. This time we're going to go by the C2 at Astro Andromeda. From the very start of this video up until this moment right here has taken me 2 days of playing Star Citizen to accomplish. The glorious C2 Hercules made by Crusader is one of my very favorite ships within this game. It holds the largest amount of cargo, which is 696 SCU or 69,600 items you can sell. That's completely ridiculous. In a nutshell, that means the next time I run Quant, it's going to be done in one trip, no matter what. Seriously, tell me the very first time you see this ship that you don't get like a huge gigantic space boner. I mean, look how huge this thing is. It's totally ridiculous. Time to take her out for a spin, Captain. Now, leave me alone just for a few minutes. I need some alone time to figure things out in my pants. Alright, well, that only took me a few seconds, ironically. Just look how awesome this ship is. Nothing feels better than earning your very first major ship in Star Citizen. Well, since I'm out flying her around, I might as well head over to her L5 and buy the very best quantum drive that money can buy. That's going to get us around the verse really quick. Hit up Platinum Bay in the Galleria. You will be buying the TS2, which is literally the most glorious drive that you can put in a large ship. This thing guzzles gas, but oh boy does it get you there fast. I guess I could go mine some more quant to upgrade all the other parts in this ship. However, I think I'm just going to steal my way across the verse as well as doing a little bit of trading in this gigantic ship. Congratulations if you made it this far. I'm now going to promote you to Rear Admiral because you've earned it. All Rear Admirals need to take it in the I'm just kidding. I'm going to go ahead and start trading so I can upgrade my ship. Thank you for your time today. Catch you later.